We've got a full quorum here. So, good evening. I am Todd Doyle, Chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I'd like to welcome you all to tonight's virtual meeting and public hearing of the Zoning Board of Appeals. The required meeting agenda, application materials, and legal notice are all available on the town website. Because in-person attendance at public meetings is likely to increase the risk of transmission of COVID-19, this hearing is being conducted in accordance with Governor Lamont's executive orders 7B and 7I. Will the Assistant Zoning Enforcement Officer please call the roll? Ms. Birmingham?
Michael D'Amato. Todd Doyle. Angelo Di Matteo.
Here.
Michael Johnson.
Michael Johnson.
Here.
Here.
Don Neville.
Don Neville.
John Harris.
John Harris.
Here.
Here.
Olinda Morales.
Olinda Morales.
And Bob Chance.
Bob Chance.
Here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Birmingham. We had, we had quite an echo there, so evidently we've addressed that. All right. Again, this is Todd Doyle, chairing again. For the record, I'd note that we have a full quorum of the board. Board members and town staff are participating via WebEx. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television or on West Hartford Community Interactive, Comcast Channel 5, and Frontier TV Channel 6098, or at www.whctv.org. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing, which will be available on the town website. Because of the virtual format of this hearing, there are some special rules and procedures I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to please mute the microphones on your devices when you are not speaking. Second, pursuant to Executive Order 7B, all speakers must state their name and title each time they speak. Also, I will ask members of the board and the applicant not to address other participants directly. Board and requests for information must be made through the chair. After you state your name, simply preface your question or comment with "through the chair," and when you are done, I will recognize the person most appropriate to respond. These practices may feel rigid and awkward, however, they will ensure that the meeting is conducted in an orderly fashion and that members of the public who are listening can understand the discussion. With that, will the Assistant Zoning Enforcement Officer please read the legal notice?
The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a virtual meeting on Wednesday, January 20th, 2021 at 6 p.m. to hear and act on the following petition. Petition number 01-21, 67 Somerset Street. Petition of G. Pietru on behalf of C. Neville, record owner, requesting a special exception approval in order to maintain a customary home occupation for a law office as an accessory to the residence per section 177-49 for a period of 1 year per plans on file, R6 zone. The full application material is available for public review by visiting the town's website at www.westhartfordct.gov/government-services/meetings-agendas, or by request via email to comment.tpz@westhartfordct.gov. Virtual meeting viewing instructions. The public hearings will be conducted exclusively as virtual meetings in accordance with Executive Orders numbers 7B and 7I issued by Governor Ned Lamont. The public hearings will be broadcast live on television on West Hartford Community Interactive Comcast Channel 5 and Frontier TV Channel 6098 and streamed live at www.whctv.org. Audio comment. Any interested persons may participate in real time by calling 1-408-418-9388 and using the following access code 179-064-5482 at 6 o'clock p.m. Participants using caller ID blocking will not be permitted to participate. Participants will be called on in order in which the call was received. When prompted by the chair and/or moderator, participants will have the permission to speak on matters germane to the hearing. Written comment. Any interested persons may submit a written comment via email to comment.tpz@westhartfordct.gov. Written comments will be made part of the record at the January 20th, 2021 public hearing and posted on the town's website. In order to be included as part of the record, comments must meet the following requirements. Comments must be received no later than 3:30 p.m. on January 20th, 2021. The subject of the email shall be application number and address, ZBA, January 20th, public hearing. The body of the email must begin with the interested person's full name and street address. Comments must be germane to the application and no longer than 500 words. Legal notice posted on 1/8/21. Todd Doyle, Chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Brian Public, Secretary to the Board. That concludes the notice.
Can't hear you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So either Ms. Birmingham or Mr. Public, can you confirm that letters were mailed to abutters and the compliance with the signs were recorded? And okay, I think I saw you confirm there.
We can confirm, yes, signs were posted.
That is
mailed.
confirmed.
All right, thank you. Okay, so as promised, because of the virtual meeting format, there are some special rules and procedures regarding hearings that I need to cover before we begin. First, phone access is intended only for members of the public who wish to actively participate, provide comments on the noticed application for application number 1-21. If you are interested in speaking on this item, please call 1-408-418-9388, enter access code 179-064-5482. If you are on the phone and do not plan to speak on this application, please hang up and watch live on television on West Hartford Community Interactive Comcast Channel 5, Frontier TV Channel 6098, or streaming at www.whctv.org. Again, if you do not plan to comment, please hang up the phone now and instead listen to the hearing on the television or internet. For the members of the public who are still on the phone, please do not mute your devices. The meeting moderator will keep everyone's line muted until it is your turn to speak. If you mute your own line, the moderator may not be able to hear your voice when he calls for comment. Second, I would like to describe how the hand-raising process will work. Unfortunately, our conference technology does not allow us to identify individual callers by name. So when the public comment portion of the meeting begins, the moderator will randomly unmute one call in line and ask everyone to say their name at the same time. The voice that we hear will belong to the person whose line is unmuted. That person will then be recognized by the moderator and asked to restate their name and provide their street address. We will repeat this process until we have unmuted every phone line. It is very important that you say your name each time you are prompted by the moderator. If the moderator unmutes the phone line and does not hear a voice after the prompt, that phone line will be removed from the conference. If you have called in and are also streaming the meeting on YouTube or watching on television, please silence your other device when you speak. Otherwise, there's an echo because of a slight delay in the TV and streaming broadcast. Third, I ask that all speakers keep their comments brief and germane to the application. Obscene, offensive, or threatening language will not be tolerated. Anyone violating this rule will receive a warning, and if the conduct continues, I will ask the moderator to mute that person's phone line for the remainder of the meeting. If the violation is egregious, that person will be muted immediately. Fourth, the public was provided opportunities to submit written comments on the application via mail and email. These comments have been published on the town's website as a .pdf file and are embedded in the online agenda. For the record, the zoning enforcement officer will now read the names of those who submitted written comments.
We do not have any emails.
All right, thank you. Members of the public are welcome to continue sending comments to comment.tpz@westhartfordct.edu. Those comments will be distributed to members of the board and also read into the record. Finally, I'd like to outline for all attendees rules of engagement and how the board operates the public hearing. Those presenting or commenting should state their name and address for the record, and please spell your name. Board members may ask questions during the testimony of the applicant. All questions and comments will be directed through the chair and only after recognition by the chair, including follow-ups. If feasible, the chair will have the members hold their questions until the end of the applicant's presentation or at the end of a logical break in the applicant's presentation. Following testimony of the applicant, the public will have a chance to comment about the current application in the following order and in the manner previously described. Upon conclusion of the public's comments, the applicant will have an opportunity to address the opinions expressed. Upon conclusion of the applicant's rebuttal, and if there are no further questions from the board, the public hearing will be closed. It is the practice of the board to render a decision on an application the same night, following all items on the public meeting agenda. I'd like to conclude by thanking everyone in advance for your patience. And with that, will the applicant please proceed with their presentation?
All right, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Pietzu. For the record, the spelling is Piekuch. My business address is 750 Main Street in Hartford. And I'm here tonight on behalf of Charles Donald Neville III, who resides at 67 Somerset Street in West Hartford. We're here tonight to present on petition 01-21, which is a special exception application for a home occupation pursuant to 177-49 of the West Hartford zoning regulations. By way of background, Mr. Neville is an attorney at law. He graduated from the UConn Law School in 2001. He's been an attorney in good standing in that time here in Connecticut. Most recently, Don has been a partner at the law firm of Kroll, McNamara, Evans & Delahanty, which is in West Hartford. And Don and I had the pleasure of being law partners for a number of years. I started my own firm about 2 years ago, and Don is likewise going to go out on his own and is looking to have his law office in his home at 67 Somerset Street. I'm going to try to share my screen here because I just want to sort of run through the regulations and requirements. So if there's any issues, please let me know. So again, here's the application that's been fully complete. So we respectfully suggest that the application is complete. Don also posted the sign as required by the regulations, and that's been up for the full 7 days. We did submit earlier today the affidavit for the record. Is everyone able to see my screen? Okay. I want to run through the requirements. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this, but these are the special exception requirements that are in the regulations. It says that the ZBA may in its discretion grant a special exception for a home occupation in a residence district, provided certain standards have been met. And I'm just going to run through them quickly. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm going to suggest that Don then easily meets all these. So the first requirement is that not more than 2 non-resident employees are permitted on the premises at any one time. We can represent to you that the only employee is going to be Don himself. So we are one for this. So we are not going to exceed this limitation in the regulations. The second requirement is not more than 1/3 of the total finished floor area will be used for the occupation. We can confirm that. Don is simply going to have an office in the house. He's drawn this onto the site plan that we have. We can show that it's just one room on the first floor of the home, so we are well below the 1/3 requirement. The third is that the character of the dwelling should not change, or nor should there be any exterior evidence of the secondary use. And that is the case. We are not having any signage. There's going to be no change to the exterior of the home or the driveways or anything like that. It'll look just like a home. Fourth, not more than 1 home occupation shall be permitted per dwelling unit. So I can confirm that this would be the only home occupation there, just Don and his law office. Fifth, the keeping of stock and trade, merchandise goods, this doesn't apply. The only food will be in Don's fridge. There should be no services rendered that require receipt or delivery of merchandise goods, etc. I can confirm and represent to the board that other than FedExes and mail, there's not going to be any deliveries of this nature. 7, and this is where we perhaps are on thin ice, but the proposed home occupation requires specialized knowledge derived from a long and intensive academic preparation. This actually goes on to, specifically list lawyers. So all kidding aside, a lawyer is specifically contemplated as a permitted home occupation, and that's what we're going to be using the office for. There is a secondary requirement that the ZBA must also make a couple findings. One is that the location and the size of the use and the nature and the intensity of the operations is not going to be out of harmony with the neighborhood. What I can tell you is that, particularly given the pandemic, but also going forward, Don is not going to be very frequently going to be meeting with clients at the office. Don's been virtual, as have I, and most lawyers since this all began, and frankly, that's going to be going forward probably the same. Don estimates that at most, one client meeting per month at the home. So we're not going to be anticipating that anybody in the neighborhood is going to know that there is a law office at Don's home. So we think that we've met this, and we think that the ZBA respectfully can make a finding consistent with Section 2A of the regulations. And then the second is that the parking must be adequate to achieve maximum safety. As I mentioned, there's not any other employees, so we don't have to deal with another employee car. There's going to be very, very few client meetings. So the traffic here is very, very minimal. Don has a driveway. So to the extent that there is an occasional client that comes to meet for a meeting, we'll certainly be able to park that client on the driveway off the street. So we're not going to be creating any parking issues in the neighborhood yet. With that, I will try to unshare. So who knows if I can figure that out. Stop sharing. So with that, that's our presentation. I believe that we've met all the requirements for the special exception. We've run through it all, and I would respectfully ask that the ZBA grant the special exception and permit Don Neville to have his home occupation at 67 Somerset as set forth in the application. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
I'm happy to
Piazza.
take them.
Thank you. Are there any questions from anyone on the board? Hearing none. Mr. Moderator, do we have anyone on the phone from the public either wishing to speak for or against this application?
Mr. Chairman, there are no call-ins.
No call-ins. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Piazza, thank you for that. We will now close the public portion of the hearing for deliberations.
Very good. Thank you.
Your application. You're welcome to stay and hear our deliberations. There's no shortage of kind of twisted remarks I can make here about Don and his ability to practice law, but I'm going to hold myself from those and just say I think the presentation was very well done. I think this fits squarely within what we see as the customary home occupation exception for the zoning. Any further discussion from the board? No. Okay, I don't see any. All right. Sensing we are ready to vote, will the Assistant Zoning Enforcement Officer please do a roll call vote for us?
We do need a motion and a second, though, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Okay, motion to approve.
Also, just for the record, we're going to have alternates John Harris and Bob LaChance voting on this.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Birmingham. So first order of business, again, can I get a motion to approve application 1-21?
So moved.
Motion. Oh, sorry, second.
Yeah, approved.
Okay, you got that, Brittany?
Who made the motion?
Mr.
Okay.
Harris? Okay, sensing we are ready to vote, Ms. Birmingham, would you please do a roll call vote for us?
Todd Doyle,
Yes.
Angelo DiMatteo,
Yes.
Michael Johnson,
Michael, you have to unmute.
Yes.
John Harris,
Yes.
Bob LaChance.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Pietsu. Our best regards to Don. I'm sure he'll be very successful, and we look forward to having him in the community doing his work at his home.
Thank you very much to the board. Have a good evening.
You too. Next order of business, the minutes. Have everybody gotten a copy of the minutes to review?
So for the minutes, the people voting are Todd Doyle, Angelo DiMatteo, John Harris. We don't have a Linda here. Oh, so Bob LaChance.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes for the December meeting.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Second.
Second from Mr. Harris. Okay, all those in favor? Ms. Birmingham, will you please conduct a roll call vote?
Todd Doyle,
Approve?
Angelo DiMatteo,
Yes.
John Harris,
Yes.
Bob LaChance.
Yes.
Brian or Brittany, any other housekeeping items for us?
We do have the annual report on the agenda. It was emailed out and there's a link, but let me know if you need me to resend.
I have not reviewed the annual report, Brittany. Would you mind resending that to me?
Sure.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to adjourn.
Are we going to try to tackle the annual report? I don't know the size of.
If we can do it now, great. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to jump the gun.
Let me,
Sorry.
if it's a one pager, we can do it. If it's,
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I think you guys should be able to tackle this in the next couple minutes here as soon as Brittany gets that out.
Let me get the
You
agenda.
think so, Brian?
I think so. Pretty confident.
I think Mr. Johnson has a hot take. He's trying to move things along.
You can't women at 6:30, so that can't be it.
Okay, it should be coming through. So just as a way of background, our annual report is required as per Chapter 5, Section 1B of the Town Code. It's a report of the ZBA's activity, and it's provided to the Town Council. All boards and commission have to provide this information to them for their information, and it's received at their hearings.
And Brian, these numbers are accurate?
I think so.
Okay.
I know Brittany put them together and she spent some time on it, so I'm sure that they're extremely accurate.
Okay, with that, can we get a motion to approve the annual report?
Move to approve.
And a second? With somebody unmuted? I'll second, Brittany.
Okay.
All right, and can we conduct a roll call vote, please?
Todd Doyle,
Approve?
Angelo DiMatteo,
Approve.
Michael Johnson,
Yes.
John Harris,
Approve.
Bob LaChance.
Okay, and
Motion
now, thank you. And now, Mr. Johnson, do you have a motion you'd like to propose?
Chair, I move that we adjourn the meeting, subject to the call of the chair.
Second that. Okay, Ms. Birmingham, a roll call vote, please.
Todd Doyle,
Approve, yes.
Angelo DiMatteo,
Yes.
Michael Johnson,
Yes.
John Harris,
One more
yes,
time.
Yes.
and Bob LaChance.
Yes.
Who was that motion and second?
Mike first, Todd second.
Okay.
Okay, we are so adjourned.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, everyone. Thank you,
Happy
Brittany.
New Year, everybody. See you guys
Thank you.
later. Have a good night.
The rest of the month, I will.